Good morning, students. As we have completed the first three chapters of class 11th chemistry, and I am sending you the exercise questions also in the form of PDF, and a few I had solved during the course of discussion. I urge you that you continue making notes of the question answers in the form of questions and then the answers. That will be better than writing down the paragraph based notes, because ultimately in the exam you have to attempt questions answer. So in chemistry, the more you solve questions and its answer, more the concept will be there in your mind. So today we are going to start a new chapter, and we will have an overview of this chapter at first, that what we are going to study. This chapter requires 14 periods to be completed. I will try to strategize in such a way that maybe you will require less time, or if required, we may extend the time also if you find difficulty in understanding and if you want more elaboration. So there is no such hurry, or there is no such confinement that we have to do it within 14 periods only. Alright, because it is online medium, you can learn at your own pace as I have committed to you. Now, each of these words, first of all, we will make it clear what these words mean. This chapter is chemical bonding. So let us try to understand the meaning of chemical bonding. Before understanding the word chemical bonding, let us understand what is chemical. Chemical is nothing but various matter in the form of its element, its molecule, its compound, and everything around us. You, me, the wall, the desk, the chair, everything is chemical, made up of chemical only. These are made up of the elements forms molecules and compounds. You will find that these elements and the compounds are associated with each other, joined with each other in various form. Some joints are very strong, some joints are weak. Like if you take sodium chloride, it is very easy for you to understand. It is solid. Sodium and chlorine, or sodium ion and the chloride ion are strongly bonded, so strongly joined when they are solid, but when they are put in liquid, they become ionic. They become dissolved. They undergo ionization. What happens then? Sodium plus is surrounded by water molecule, and chloride ion is also surrounded by water molecule, and they separate. So how a chemical will behave depends upon which atoms are there in the molecule or compound and how strongly or how weakly they are joined. That join, or that force of attraction between the chemical species, atoms, ions, are called as chemical bonding. So what is a chemical bond? Chemical bond is the force of attraction between any two chemical species. Next is molecular structure. Like see, as we know that a matter is made up of atom. Matter is made up of atom. An atom is the building block of the matter. Every matter has certain structure, and the structures may be same or different. Now why the structures are same or different? Because of certain pattern of the arrangement of the atoms and the molecules. Now what is that pattern of arrangement of the atoms and molecules? That pattern of arrangement of the atom and molecules depends further on the property of that particular atom, that how many bonds it can form, how much angle will be there between the bond, and what will be the strength of the bond. So these three things determine the molecular structure. So we will study about a few molecular structure, based on which you will be able to find out the molecular structure of any molecule which will be given to you using your IQ and the basic concepts of chemistry. Okay. So if you want to write down the basic things, you can write down what is chemical bond. Chemical bond is the force of attraction between two or more chemical species. Chemical species means it can be atoms or molecules. Example, hydrogen has 1 electron and chlorine has 7 electrons in the valence shell. What is the meaning of valence shell? Valence shell means the outermost shell. To complete its octet, this molecule can come closer to hydrogen and can overlap its orbital with the orbital of hydrogen atom. And to complete its duet, that means 2 electrons in the outermost shell, it can come closer to chlorine and can form a 2 electron system. In this way, a force of attraction between these 2 electrons can arise. Now you may think that electrons are like charges, so they should repel each other. Why should they form bond? Okay, you know that electron spins in a particular direction. If the electron will spin in this direction towards my curled finger, then its magnetic moment will be in the direction of my thumb. And if the electron will spin in the opposite direction, then its magnetic moment will be in this direction. As a result, if its north pole faces its south pole, then what will happen? They will come and form bond. So whenever 2 electrons comes and form bond, then they flip their spin. They flip their spin and their magnetic moment becomes opposite, and hence they come close to each other. So if somebody tries to act smart and ask you that why like charged electrons form bond, they should repel each other, then you can say that electrons keep on spinning. Due to the spinning of electron, it behaves like an electromagnet. As a result, in the central axis of the orbit, magnetic moment is generated. Due to this magnetic moment, the oppositely charged, oppositely oriented electrons have opposite poles nearby, and hence they attract each other. Okay, and that is what in physics we study about the magnetic domains, or the tiny magnetic domains in any matter. All right. So what is happening here? These 2 electrons with opposite spin, they come close to each other and they attract each other and they form covalent bond. Covalent bond is shown by one line. So there can be more than one covalent bond. Here in this case we are seeing one covalent bond only, and the bonded electrons are not shown. They are just joined with the line, but lone pair of electrons can be shown. If you require that your explanation requires more detail, then you can show this lone pair of electron. So these are called as lone pair of electron, lone pair, which is not taking part in bond formation, and this is called as bond pair of electron. Bonded pair of electrons. So in this way, chemical bond formation takes place. This is just one way of chemical bond formation. Another way of chemical bond formation could be electrovalent in nature. Like sodium ion has plus charge and chlorine atom, which takes 1 electron from sodium, gathers 1 negative charge. This crossed electron is of sodium, actually it is given by sodium. So sodium gathers negative charge and chloride ion gathers negative charge. Due to this, as a result, a force of attraction is developed. This force of attraction is electrostatic force of attraction between the opposite charges. So this force of attraction is electrostatic force of attraction. I hope that this part is visible in the camera. So the nature of this kind of bond is electrostatic force of attraction. In chemistry we name it as electrovalent bond simply ionic bond. This is how a chemical bond is formed. So I have just given you an overview. I have not gone for much detail because today we will be just try to introduce ourselves with what we have to study. So what we have seen so far, we have seen that valence electrons are the outermost electrons. I can write the synonyms here. Valence electrons are nothing but outermost electrons. Ionic bond is nothing but electrovalent bond. Just now we saw covalent bond is due to sharing of electron. Bond parameters could be, what are the bond parameters? Just now I had quothed. I had not said, I had quothed. When I say I quothed, that means I uttered out. I just said a few bond parameters like bond angle, bond length, and bond strength or bond energy. Means energy required to break the bond or energy released when bond is formed. Lewis electron dot structure is this one. See, I have made dots like electrons. So this is called as Lewis electron dot structure. See, I have shown you the Lewis electron dot structure also. So we will be seeing many Lewis electron dot structures. In this Lewis electron dot structure, tell me in which part electron is more. In which part electron is more. In this part electron is more and in this part electron is less. Because this is electropositive and this is electronegative. What kind of bond is this? Is this ionic? No, it is not ionic. It is covalent. It is covalent bond. It is covalent bond. Because sharing of electron is taking place. It is covalent bond because sharing of electron is taking place. But since chlorine is more electronegative, so the electron cloud will be more towards chlorine and less towards hydrogen. Electron cloud will be more towards chlorine and less towards hydrogen. Now if I want to draw it in this way so that I can show you the electron density, I may draw it this way. This will be smaller and more electron will be here. As a result, there will be a polarity. As a result, there will be a polarity. This will have partial positive charge. Partial means not complete because the electrons are not completely given out. They are just shared. So it will have a partial positive charge. Partial positive charge is shown by delta sign. And this will have a partial negative charge. Partial negative charge. This is del minus. And due to this partial positive and negative charges, we will call it as polar covalent bond. Polar covalent bond. We will call it as polar covalent bond. So, we have to study about the polar character of ionic bond. Polar character of ionic bond. Yes, ionic bond will always be polar. See, it already has a permanent dipole. It has a permanent dipole. But sometimes covalent bond also shows ionic character. Okay, when covalent bond shows ionic character, then we call it as polar covalent bond. We call it as polar covalent bond. It is a covalent bond. This we agree with. We have seen. Hydrogen has less electrons, so electropositive. Chlorine has more electrons, electronegative. So there is a polarity. So it is a covalent bond. What kind of covalent bond? It is polar covalent bond. What kind of bond it is? It is polar covalent bond. It is polar covalent bond. Polar covalent bond. Okay. So ionic character of covalent bond. is due to the formation of polar covalent bond. To this, I would like to further make you understand that water is also polar covalent molecule. If you see the structure of water, then oxygen has how many electrons in the outermost shell? 6. Such that there are 2 lone pairs and 1 bond pair with hydrogen. So it forms covalent bond, but this covalent bond has polar nature. This covalent bond has polar nature. It has negative sign, it has one positive sign, it has one positive sign, and this delta shows that the electrons are not completely lost, they are shared. As you know that like dissolves like, there is one phrase. This part I will erase little bit. We know that like dissolves like, and water is polar covalent liquid which can act as a solvent. Solvent is something which dissolves solute. So that is why water, it being covalent, first thing is it is covalent, second thing it is polar. That is why water is able to dissolve both covalent compounds as well as ionic compounds. You will find that water can dissolve sugar also, which is covalent, and water can dissolve common salt also, which is ionic, because water is a polar covalent solvent and it can ionize the ionic salt, and it can polarize the polar covalent salt. If you would like to see the process of dissolution, I can make a very beautiful illustration here. The beautiful illustration is, what happens when you put sodium chloride in water? Say this is sodium chloride. It is not a molecule, it is a tight ion pair. Okay. Generally in chemistry, or those who know chemistry well, they don't call NaCl as molecule, they call it as tight ion pair, because no sooner it is put in water, it breaks into Na plus and Cl minus ion. When you add water to this, then Na plus is surrounded by the negative pole. Na plus is surrounded by the negative pole, which has more electron density. That is why the bulge side I am keeping towards negative, and Cl minus surrounded by the positive end of the chlorine. So plus. Now imagine if I am having a bond with one of my friend and a crowd comes in between us. What will happen? I will get separated by one crowd and my friend will get separated by another set of crowd, isn't it? So here water molecule acts as a crowd, okay, and it has the ability to pull apart the oppositely charged ions because it has both type of charges. See, one end has positive charge and another end has negative charge. One end has positive charge and another end has negative charge. So in this way, dissolution takes place. In this way, dissolution process takes place. This illustration you might not find in any of the books, because very nicely in one of the book it is explained by a writer called as Morrison Boyd. Morrison Boyd is a very good book of chemistry, basically of organic chemistry, where he has explained the process of dissolution of ions by solvent in this manner. Okay, so I could recall that concept and I could explain it here, because some of the students were asking me that can you exactly let us know how it looks like when an ion is dissolved and it does not seem to be visible in the solution. The ions which are not visible in the solution are actually surrounded by the water molecule and they are made to go far apart. As a result, they don't precipitate and they are not seen. This is how when salt is dissolved in water, we don't see sodium ion and chloride ion. This was one thing. But if you take any polar covalent molecule also, polar covalent molecule, I can take any polar covalent molecule like alcohol. Why to take HCl, which looks like polar, too much polar? I can take alcohol, C2H5, OH. All of you know that it is polar. It is polar in nature because of OH bond. Same kind of dissolution happens, and this surrounded water is written like this, it is written like this: CH3, CH2, O minus aqueous and H plus aqueous. So in this way what happens, alcohol also gets dissolved in water. So water is called as a universal solvent because it is both covalent as well as it is polar covalent. So it has ionic nature. Although water is a covalent compound, but it has polarity. And if we want to dissolve any molecule which is less polar in water, then what we do, we can add little bit of HCl. So HCl, what it does, it also helps in increasing the ionic property of the chemical species by giving its H plus ion to one part of the molecule and Cl minus part to other part of the molecule. And hence, to dissolve anything, like if you want to dissolve even gold, if you want to dissolve, then we put lots of acid, aqua regia, which is HCl and HNO3 in 1:3 ratio, and then we put water. So these acids, they are actually ionizers, they help the molecules to form ions, and hence we are able to dissolve covalent compound as well as ionic compound both in water or water containing acids. Alright, so that was about it. Now we will come to valence bond theory. If you will see textbook, there are a number of different lines, but to understand, we have already seen valence bond theory. According to valence bond theory, it is said that only the electrons of the valence shell takes part in the bond formation. Who does not know this? Everyone knows, because we are applying it for long. But according to valence bond theory, electrons in the valence shell only takes part in the bond formation. True? Accepted? Why they do so? They do so to complete their octet in the outermost shell. We have seen that in case of HCl also we have seen. In case of water also we had seen. Oxygen was having 6 electrons and 2 electrons it took from hydrogen and it formed water. Okay. What is the time of the video which is like going on, because I have to make it up to 30 minutes only, so that it becomes easy to upload. and you don't also feel bored. So according to valence bond theory, we will do this much and then we will do this much in a next set of video only. So I will be splitting this video into two parts. One part, this part I will do, and the part, this part we will do. And then next day onwards, each of these points I will take and I will expand, okay, with my verbal magnifying glass, with my words I will explain it and I will split it so that you understand each of this topic more deeply. So far we are discussing about valence bond theory. According to valence bond theory, what happens? The atoms having unpaired electron in the valence shell tries to complete its octet, and hence they come close to each other, overlap and form bond. Only the electrons in the valence shell takes part in the bond formation, and after the bond formation what happens? The atoms, they lose their individual property, and the first formed bond is stronger as head-on overlapping of the orbital takes place. Alright, so these things we will be studying. Alright, so as the word suggests, what is valence bond theory? It is a theory which explains about bond formation. Valence means outermost shell. So the first thing is that according to valence bond theory, the valence electrons in the valence shell only takes part to bond formation. Why do they do so? They do so to complete their octet in the outermost shell. Why they do so? They do so to complete their octet in the outermost orbital. How they do so? They do so by coming close to the atoms and sharing their valence shell. As a result, the one which wants to complete its duet can complete, the one which wants to complete its octet can complete. And that is how bond formation takes place. Now after this video, what I will do is, in the description box, I will be giving you a few questions. Alright, the tripod is shaking due to some reason. Maybe there is an earthquake. Alright, since I am capturing this video with a mobile, so there can be autofocus problem also. So please bear with me, have patience. Even if it is blurred a little bit, after some time it will become alright. Okay, because I am not using a DSLR. Very poor teacher, I don't have money, Alright, so one day I will have lots of subscribers and I will become a millionaire, and then I will be having a nice teaching studio of my own and I will be teaching even better. As of now, I am doing with whatever I have, whatever resources are available. So please bear with me. I hope that content matters and the setup should be here, isn't it? So valence bond theory we have seen. In my next video, I will be explaining you about this part, and then from the next class onwards, I will be splitting each of these points more so that your understanding becomes clear, deeper, and such that you are able to solve all the questions in your textbook and the exercises. Alright, thank you.